Welcome. 2 minutes and you see me sit here typing a few things. I'm just curious to ask the question that we have. Getting started, trying to bring in some good content, some great uh, football knowledge, especially concerning Dallas Cowboys. Uh, I'm excited about this journey. I'm getting ready to go on, encouraging and inviting whoever want to go on it with us. And I want to start with this question, and I want to talk a little bit about it. Should the Dallas Cowboys trade CeeDee Lamb? And if so, then what should that trade for the Cowboys look like? Me personally, I think that all things considered, CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee Lamb is an X factor for the Dallas Cowboys and would probably be an X factor for any team in the NFL. But when I look at the structure of the Kansas City Chiefs, as far as how I like to structure a team, being a mad franchise guru, I think that this is much bigger than playing Madden, but at the same time, it's a lot of light as well. When building rosters and understanding management, cap room, and things like that, I think that Madden is a very realistic uh, thing when it comes to real life situations. The coach for the Rams and a few other coaches, I think that they come from these very open minded places that we know Jerry Jones may not really be as far as certain things. Not to take from Jerry like a lot of people do, because I do understand Jerry in a lot of ways, and Jerry he's been doing it. He's been in the business for a very long time, so you can't knock experience. But I really want to consider some of the things that's been kind of like on the table, and then how I've been really going through, kind of losing a little sleep at night, thinking about these trades, thinking about the outcome for the Dallas Cowboys. And one of the structured teams being, like I said, the Kansas City Chiefs and the things that they do over there, I think that they do a really good job with management, long term, short term. It's almost like they can rebuild and contend for a championship in the same season. You see big moves with moving somebody like a Tyreek Hill, who is arguably the best player in the league. I know some people might disagree. They got JJ as the best wide receiver. I got Tyreek as the best wide receiver in the league. And any position that the person that can be considered the number one at the position can be considered a number one in the league. We know the quarterback position is very important. I think the O line position is underrated because they block for the quarterback, but I don't think that it's a top position. But when you got new generational talents like Michael Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, I think that is really considerable to see them as a player you wouldn't want to trade or get rid of or let go. I think that numbers being aligned with Mahomes and the slander that he gets, I don't think that he gets the credit he deserves. And the reason why I'm mentioning these names is because they factor in, will CeeDee Lamb be traded? Money doesn't grow on trees, and we understand that uh, is a business. We heard from Dak today in the last few days about how he views his stay in Dallas, whether he might go somewhere else. I'm really just trying to get started. I don't want to have a whole lot that I'm gonna spill on my first video, but I really want to just open up. It's kind of tough right now, but I know that the ice will break. I know at some point this will get easier for me. But I really have a good question about this CD Lab trade and just want to throw out a few points. I think that the formula And I keep saying Kansas City. I mean, that's a championship team. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. I think the formula over there in Kansas City uh, is really structured around good coaching, where you can have mediocre wide receivers, above average defense, well rounded at every position all the way around, and a decent O line. But the wide receivers is the position that they kind of chose to kind of have a drop off as far as not being able to have a Hall of Famer or a Pro Bowler in every position, which is, I think, the Cowboys have the biggest problem than anybody when it comes to this. But what Kansas City was able to do, they're right there with it. We see the Eagles and the Niners and teams that look stacked, and we see how Buffalo is kind of going into this phase of rebuild because they had a lot of old age players. You know, they got rid of Stephon and they trying to bring in some youth. They're trying to kind of like balance, rebuild, and contending at the same time. But I think again, nobody better than the Kansas City Chiefs when it comes to doing this. Uh, they got Chris Jones back. They lost the star cornerback, but they still keep a well balanced defense. And then that trade that they did with Tyreek, I think was a unique and very smart, amazing trade, if you ask me, because the pieces that they got to replace understanding cap and understanding money, I think that their X factor being Travis Kelce in that position where he can dominate behind a great quarterback like Mahomes with an O line, and then they added Pacheco, things like that. I just think that the formula there is good. Me personally, when it comes to offense, I was not up on it that way to agree with it the way that I agree with it now. I felt like a strong run game with a Derrick Henry, a pound for pound guy, Christian McCaffrey. You know, I felt like Kansas City kind of had more of my formula for an offense, above average quarterback with good weapons, decent average weapons, but with a strong run game. Offensive line wasn't as good as I would, as far as the whole Niners kind of had formula for an offense, with the exception of Trent Williams, the O line, not being the best. But they managed to make it work for the last few years of, at least being in the runnings. When it comes to the Eagles getting Saquon Barkley, I kind of feel like their identity is going towards that too. We know that they got a really good offensive line, not as good as it was last year, but it's still decent, above average, and they got weapons. It's almost like how do they do this? But they drop off, I believe, on defense as far as I would say an average to below average secondary, though they got Slade there. The linebackers is about the same average, some of Reddick was, but he's gone. They made way in room for Barkley, and I think that they got a really good above average defensive line. For me, I'm a defensive guy. I say all this to say before I get out of my come to a close. I don't want to go past 10 minutes of my first video, but I'm about at the mark. Hey, I just wanted to share this and see what people think. I don't know how this works, but I'm learning, and it allows me to kind of marinate a little bit, see how many people will see this video, and how many people would entertain the questions, and kind of show some love and help it get going. Uh, but that's it that I got for right now. I'll come back with my next video. More talk on the trade with CeeDee Lamb. I didn't go into depth, but I did want to put out the start to how I see it. Life. God bless.